What's up guys, it's La Muerte Blanca. We're back with another Virtual On inspired Armor Core 6 build. This time we are working with a fan favorite with Viper 2. So Viper was the speed character of the Virtual On series. Great speed, great attack, but it suffered in health and armor, and this one is a direct replication of that. So very fast build, it can dodge a lot of different attacks, but if you get hit, you're gonna feel it. I like to call it a mosquito build because you are constantly annoying your opponent, zooming around and being very hard to hit, but again, if you get hit, you're gonna feel it. As always guys, the code for this build can be found in the description. Feel free to try it out, let me know what you think. I've been having a ton of fun playing with this one, so I hope you guys enjoy it as well. For those of you who don't remember, Viper had three main weapons. We had the Vulcan gun that shot a series of lasers, the 7 missiles that would come out and do a ton of damage on the opponent, as well as the homing beam. On top of that, which isn't any quote-unquote official weapon, but you could still use it, Viper was well known for the laser sword. So the build we have here is a direct replication of all of that. So going into our weapons, the laser handgun is going to mimic our Vulcan weapon, where it will shoot lasers, but the nice thing about it is the charge on the handgun shoots a series of them, just like what you'd expect from the Vulcan. On our other arm, we have the pulse blade. So again, not an official weapon for Viper, but if you have played Virtual On, you know the laser sword, so of course we had to give Viper that option. And then going into the back units, we have the missile launcher, the PO3 MLT-06. Now this is a 6 missile launcher. Armor Core didn't have 7, so this is the closest I can get. And the thing I like about this is that it's actually pretty good in terms of its guidance. So there'll be a lot of situations where there is an enemy trying to dodge whatever you're throwing at them, and this missile launcher has done pretty well in terms of keeping the pressure on and hitting its targets. And then on our left back, we have the laser cannon VP-60 LCS. So this is just the single shot, not the triple that you'd see from the more powerful version of it, because Viper would only shoot one of their homing blasts, and we wanted to replicate that as closely as possible. So a nice thing about this one is even though you're only shooting one blast, it still has a decent amount of power. And for this build, this is going to be the weapon where you're going to be building most of your impact. As we go into the frame, I wanted to briefly mention the paint job. Unfortunately, in Armor Core, for some weird reason, there are certain parts of the build that you can't put decals on, so I couldn't get too specific with the details of the certain paint job. You know, for example, you can see on the waist, outside of the black hexagon and square, you have the purple there on the waist, and that was a choice that had to be made because on the ankles between the foot and the shin, I could not put a decal. So in order to make that purple, I also had to make the top part purple, as well as the hands. So I did as best as I could as far as the paint and decals, and I feel like I did a pretty good job overall. But going into the frame, again, all these parts were picked because we wanted to most closely replicate the look and feel of Viper. Again, look very important, but also we wanted to make sure we had a lightweight frame that could give us the speed that we wanted in order to play like Viper. We want the shade eye head. It has the helmet that most closely represents the little notch on the top of Viper's helmet. On the body, we went for Meza primarily because it is a lighter torso with a skinnier waist, so that was going to allow us to both get the look and the feel for the build that we're looking for here. The arms, we have the 46Es, and not even going to try to say that actual name. It has the shoulder pads that we're looking for a Viper build, and on top of that, the firearm specialization that we get is amazing, so that's going to be great for our handgun and our other weapons, able to actually hit our shots. And then going into the legs, we have the Albas. Now we have the iconic high heel look that you'd expect from a Viper, as well as the straight legs. And I have seen other Viper builds that either decide to use the Hall's 826s because they like the little wings on the sides, but I decided to forego that just because I wanted the extra speed. And I've also seen builds that are all about speed and feel, and they'll go for the 42Es, but again, that just doesn't have the look. So I felt that the Albas was a good mix for look as well as speed. For the inner workings of this build, the booster, we had to go with the Lula 21E. Now this is, in my opinion, the best booster for a lightweight build. You only have an ideal weight of 62,400, but you're getting a tremendous amount of thrust, quick burst reload time, as well as a quick burst thrust, That's going to help you zoom around the battlefield and essentially annoy your opponent because they can't hit you. For the FCS, we went with the tall bot because you're going to be popping in and out of close to medium range depending on whether or not you're using that pulse blade, that handgun, or your shoulder weapons. So we want a little bit of versatility when it came to fighting different opponents depending on what build they have. And then for a generator, with all of the builds that we've done so far, have to go Arquebus because you got to get that iconic blue flame. And this was a good mix between energy capacity, recharge, weights. So again, with the VP-20C for our generator. As far as the strategy for this build goes, it depends on what you're playing against. Now, if you're going against something that has a little bit more firepower that you might want to stay away from, you're definitely going to use your speed, stay at medium range, and essentially annoy the hell out of your opponent until they decide to give up or die. If you are going against something a little bit lighter, that's when you can start taking a couple chances with the pulse blade. But for the most part, you'll be using your handgun and your rockets to pepper the opponent, annoy them, slowly dwindle that life down. If you have an opportunity that you notice that their boost is running low, or if they're in a stagger state, then you can charge up that shoulder cannon and let loose with your most powerful weapon there. And then of course, if they try to get in your space, that's when you start swiping with the sword in order to get that big damage. But this build is not about building impact very quickly like some of the others that you've seen. It's all about moving around, using that speed in order to not get hit, and then slowly dwindling your opponent's life down. And that's Viper 2. Again, the code is in the description, so feel free to try it out. Let me know what you think. We also have a Temjin and a farmed build, and I am currently working on a couple others as well, so make sure that you guys look out for those. Trying to keep Virtuon alive. It's a great game, and more people need to know about it, so hopefully Armored Core will allow us to relive some of the glory days of the past. So again, guys, thank you so much for checking this out. If you found this at all entertaining, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think about the build. Let me know what other builds you guys want to see. Again, I'm having a ton of fun making these different creations in Armored Core 6, and I'm absolutely loving everything about this game. So thank you guys for checking out the video. I'll go ahead and shut my mouth and we'll check out some PvP gameplay. I'm La Muerte Blanca, and I'll catch you guys next time.